So today we're going to talk about a little bit about me, a little bit about Amnesty and the IS, about our theme, what we do, our open source theme and plugins, and we're also going to talk about how to get involved as well. So without further ado. Okay, click. There we go. Cool. So hi, I'm Austin. So started out as a graphic designer in 2007. Started out designing flash banners a very long time ago, ActionScript back then. Eventually got into project management, looking after websites, and ended up at Amnesty now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, so a little bit about Amnesty. So this is pretty much taken from the website. So we're a global movement of more than 10 million people who campaign for a world where human rights are enjoyed by all. Through research, legal analysis, advocacy campaigning, we bring torturers to justice, oppose oppression, and help free people jailed simply for their peaceful beliefs. And we take action and inspire others to expose and stand against injustice and repression. You can find out more about it on the website. And you can see we've got offices all throughout the world. So yeah, just there's pretty much offices everywhere, all time zones. So sometimes you have to work late. I have no notes on this one, so I'll go to the next slide. Campaigns. So you might know us from some of the work we do. Three of the big pieces of work we do, one of them is Right for Rights, and that's just we get people to nowadays is online actions, but in the past it was letter writing campaigns. We do the annual report, which was launched day before yesterday, and that's basically, I've got some stats here. So in 1961 was the first one, and that was 16 pages, and the 2023 report was 418 pages in 49 languages and 155 countries. So it's a big old report, and we ingest it into the website. That's one of the things we do. Another one that you might have heard of is the death penalty. So we have data going back to 1979. Yeah, and there's a lot of things happening there. If you can take a look at that map. So that's some of the work that we're most known for. So, and the team. So who does the work? So yeah, we're a small team called WebOps. So when we talked about WebOps, that was just the name of our team. It's basically Caroline, web editor. There's myself, project manager. I've got a little emoji to remind me to wave. Got David, digital operations manager, and a content coordinator, Sophie. So there's a kind of a smallish team, but to some people it might be a big team. That's us. And then there's a wider group called the Web Working Group. And then we've got Rachel. There's a lot of managers sitting in the office, but we got to give a little thank you to Big Bite. They're here. Does anyone want to wave? We got Jerome, Hannah, Sarah, Scott. Many of them have actually contributed to the theme as well in the past. They're all on different accounts now, but yeah, we got Jay, Genty, and Tom who are on the account. So if you're listening, thank you. Cool. WordPress. So probably what people are most interested in is what are we doing with WordPress. So we share our code across the movement. So Amnesty, the IS, is like an organization, and then there's sections throughout the world. They're all sort of separate legal entities, and they can choose whether they use our theme or not. So we've got to kind of make the theme as good as we can, and people don't, they can choose whether they use it or not. So we have to make it good, otherwise they won't use it. So we try and share our product with everyone. We try and make it extensible as possible. So we've got sections that have maybe like 5 members of staff. So it needs to be able to be run by someone like that, up to sections that have maybe hundreds of staff. So it's a wide group of people that we, it's what I say, remember to breathe, right? Cool. Yeah, so we help people build on top of the project, on top of the product, and we host some of the websites ourselves. So there's stats in here somewhere, but there's about 25 we host, and there's a big number that use the code base. So the journey. So kind of started out in 2018. We had 2 code bases. One of them was just a WordPress site, but it wasn't built in a sort of scalable way. And we had an Umbraco application as the main Amnesty.org CMS. None of those code bases were like built to be reusable, so weren't very reusable. Kind of goes without saying, right? Yeah, so we would get loads of requests for people to build websites or microsites, and we decided to build what we called back then as a starter theme. So it was a really like cut back theme. It had like a header, footer, maybe 5 or 10 blocks. It wasn't massive, and we started rolling that out to section sites. And we did a little bit of research to see what people were using. So we didn't just choose WordPress because I'd worked with WordPress for my whole career, even though it was kind of helpful. So yeah, we looked at it, and I think we got here, 57% of the IS was using sections. So the IS is the bigger global organization. So 60% were using WordPress, and you can see you got a bunch of other stuff in there. We got custom themes. What have we got? Shorthand was one. Yeah, and a whole bunch that we just didn't know. And you can see on the other chart what the sections are using. So you can see there's a whole bunch of CMSs, but the vast majority of people were using WordPress. So we kind of knew that WordPress was the right choice for us because we wanted to build and be able to give it away to what people were already using. So when we started that project with Hannah, you'd have been working there when we was doing that, I think. Before that was Lisa, maybe. Yeah, it's been a while. But we did a gap analysis of basically all the blocks that were missing, and we just went through building block by block until we built all the blocks that we needed to migrate. But by then we'd had a bunch of sites already live, so we could roll that functionality out to those sites as and when we built it, so we didn't have to wait till the end, basically. Okay, yeah, so this was our Elastic sort of setup. We had basically kind of had like a half decoupled front and back end, and if you pressed Control F5, whatever, you could press it too many times. You might not see the website anymore. Great, so 2018 was when we started. So we wanted to make the site interoperable. We did like a vendor security assessment on the site, did a whole bunch of design work, and in that year we launched sites for the EU office and Mali. So they were the first 2 sites. So you can see a little counter up on the top right of the sites we got. Whoa, what happened there? Plus, oh, okay, well, that's even me being surprised. So in 2019, we launched 18 sites. So we had Benin, Puerto Rico, Indonesia, Algeria, Ukraine, Malaysia, Israel, and a bunch of sites for the IS, which are highlighted in yellow. But you can kind of see from this that, we got different languages going in there. We've got right to left and left to right. What else we got? So in 2020, we began to migrate Amnesty.org, which was on Umbraco, to WordPress. And in that year, we did a site for Hong Kong, Zimbabwe, Philippines. We did support for Chinese language, and a whole bunch of other sites there too. So we're on 30 sites in 2020. 2021, we finally got around to launching .org. So that was the main IS website. I say main, I'll probably get in trouble from that if people from Amnesty are watching this. And again, a whole bunch of other sites. So we're up to 40 now in 2022. It's a bit quiet, 2022. 20, yeah, I guess that's because once you've launched so many sites, you've got to maintain them, and it becomes complicated, right? 2023, we're up to 44 sites, and 2024 now 47. So we've got Chile and Kenya, and the evidence lab that launched this year. So what are we doing now is the next question. So we host many sites. This is WP Engine, just seeing in there, because we're basically a team of non-developers, we're able to have a what's the name for it? We call it a duplicator site, and that duplicator site, every time we work with a section, we duplicate that site and give people access, and we can do pretty much like 99% of those sites without the need of any developer resource. So most of the onboarding we do in-house, and externally is mostly for building new features or deploying to all those sites. This is what our site kind of built on. So we've got obviously WordPress. We use third-party plugins like Yoast, WooCommerce, Multilingual Press, CMB2, Cookie Control, and a bunch of other plugins. We built our own, so we got the Humanity theme, we got Humanity Child theme, donations plugin, petitions plugin, and we got various plugins that that connect with Salesforce and other CRM systems and send the data off. Stability. So this slide kind of shows us how we've been onboarding sections. So you can see now we start to onboard a lot of sections where we don't actually do many demos. They kind of pick it up themselves and they can launch themselves. Sometimes people just say to us, hey, we've launched the site. And we're like, oh, great, thank you. So not much work anymore. So yeah, you can kind of see here, 61.8% of the sites we have are section sites, but there's still a big chunk that are like IS microsites. So yeah, as you can probably guess, the code has to run in many environments. We only support the code running in WP Engine officially, but there are many other hosts that this site runs in. You can see here 17 languages we support, and on the main site, well, I keep saying the main site, on amnesty.org, there's 117 document languages, and those documents are stored in SharePoint, which is a different system. Latin, non-Latin scripts. So yeah, you can see there's Hebrew. Yeah, and the theme has to work with many, many use cases. So we got like one site there with 11 million users. I think that's yearly. And then some have like hardly any traffic. So some of them are like single pages. I think language. And most sections, they build their own integrations with their CRM systems, as they're all using different systems, basically. So we take them like, we like to say we take them 80% of the way there, but they've got to kind of do the final little bits themselves quite often. Okay, blocks. So people often talk about Gutenberg blocks, but we were kind of an early adopter. We went with Gutenberg before it was in core, back in 2018, so we've been there a while. I think it was a great choice. Like, all of our CMS users love it. Don't know what it's like to build this stuff because I've never written a line of code in my life. Well, I have, but not really. But yeah, we love it. So you can see it in use here, just a block being kind of worked on. But we've got loads and loads of blocks. So you can see here header blocks, counting blocks, menu blocks, call to action blocks, you name it, we've got it. Even more blocks. And multilingual press we use for our languages. So yeah, we've done a lot of work with multilingual press. That's, if you don't know, it sits on it. Multi-site, so each site has its own language. So we're using that and loved it so far. The theme, let me check my time. Yeah, halfway. Cool. So the theme, basically, we've got petitions, donations, we've got a plugin that hides media that doesn't have copyright. So we have to be careful when someone uploads an image that they don't upload it without copyright. Otherwise we get in trouble from Getty or whoever it is that we've got the image from. So if you don't put the copyright on there, the image just disappears, basically. We've got a content security plugin. So one of those scanners, it went from like an F to an A. So we was like, yeah, that's good. We got a documentation site. So I think some of these slides now have QR codes. I don't know if they work from where you are, but you're welcome to click through. So this is basically a website that runs on the theme that has an example of every block, every template, and just has loads of information on how to use it. What's next? So 2024. It says here open source in the theme, but we did that a couple of weeks ago now. So it's open. It's ready for anyone to have a look at. We're currently working on full site editing. So we're going to be a hybrid site. And we're basically going to be supporting more core WordPress blocks. So when we first launched the site, there was hardly any WordPress blocks, and we built a whole bunch of custom ones. And now we're going to like swap custom for core. So we're going to move back to, incorporate the core blocks. And we got a bunch of sites we'll be launching, no doubt. This kind of gives an example of what it has. So, when we went live, you can see there was a bunch of blocks, and this was to show management, like, we need to keep, working on this, feature updates for WordPress. We can't just like forget about it. So you can see that WordPress kind of like drops loads of blocks on you, and then you've got to go and do something with it. You've got to either hide it or support it. So we're going to be supporting a lot more of that this year. Sugar, that's the word I'm looking for. So there are 81 blocks that when I wrote this, 81 blocks that WordPress had, and we supported 22. So we're going to try and get that number a bit higher. And, we generally find, you've got planning, building, testing, design, shipping, maintenance. I think that's what those icons were supposed to be. And when you're building a custom block, you have to basically, that whole graph would just be yellow. But when you're, using a core one, you have to do a lot less work. And it's kind of what we're trying to chip away at the right-hand side. Yeah, so we're going to try and do less custom, more core. So, and the next point of the slide is like how you can get involved. So we've open sourced it now, and I've never worked on an open source project, so some of this is new to me as well. So if anyone's got any tips, feel free to let me know. But you can view our roadmap, so it's public. You can have a look. That QR code will take you there. You can see like most of the stuff we're working on. Some of it's internal and hidden, but a lot of it's open, so you can have a look. We've got a project board that you can have a look, so you can kind of see what's happening, what we're working on at any time. And what's like in a release, you can see there's a whole bunch of tabs there. So there's like one for testing, one for what's in the next release. So you can literally see all this stuff. So go ahead and it's great nighttime reading material if you want to go to sleep. Okay. So yeah, and what we're trying to end on these talks is basically, if you want to get involved, you can. So if anyone wants to come and fix a bug, we got, good first issues. So anyone can come and have a look, grab an issue, and get involved. Build as an enhancement. This is where we start asking for more. It's like, yeah, fix a little bug, but why not build as a feature? Or a really big feature? We've got it all there. This one's big ask. So that's, if you want to really help us, you can go for that tab. You've got the theme. The theme is running in a couple of places where you can see it unbranded. So if you went and downloaded the theme, this is the theme you get. So it doesn't have any of the Amnesty intellectual property, branding. It's all white labeled. So literally it's just black and white, but you can build your own child theme on top. So yeah, if you want to help, you can fix a bug, build an enhancement, build a feature, social responsibility, or if they want to, you know, do some hackathon-y type stuff, you know, feel free. I've written here, pick up a card and get in touch. So I've got cards that I specially made for today's event, and I forgot to put them on the table. When this is finished, I'll put them on the table. But they're really cool. They've got like really cool stuff on it. But yeah. Okay. Questions? That's me finished. Let me see what I'm doing for time.